In this tutorial, we will start to learn about the Jakarta standard tag library. We will look at version 1.2 since that is the version that matches Jakarta Java Enterprise Edition 8 and can be run on Tomcat 9 with OpenJDK 11. This is also the technology that we will use in our example code. The actual Jakarta JSTL specification that we will use as a guide will be for JSTL 2.0, which is part of the next major Jakarta Java Enterprise Edition version 9 release. We will start to work with the JSTL 1.2 tags. Then we'll look at the latest official Jakarta JSTL 2.0 specification. And we'll also look at the relationship between JSTL and Tomcat. Now we'll go to the official course documentation and we'll look at the standard tag library part 1. Looking at our headlines, we've got the introduction to JSTL tag. We've got using the formatting and the core tag library. Let's look at the introduction. So we basically want to remove all embedded Java code. We've already started with the expression language. Then under the working with tag headings, we have a bunch of links to the official documentation. Here we have an explanation of the taglib directive that comes at the top of the page. This URL is not an actual working URL of the taglib directive, but a type of naming conventions that are used behind the scenes to locate the correct taglib directory by the browser and your IDE. The prefix also follow convention rather than configuration. Because we're using Tomcat 9, we're going to have to do some installation behind the scenes. And here is some links regarding the JSTL installation. Here is the one that we will be using, Tomcat 9, and these two jars. Now back to the headlines, and we'll look at using the formatting tag library. Here we have a good overview of formatting a message for a specific locale or creating your own resource bundle, setting time zones, formatting numbers, and formatting date, which is what we are going to be using. Now back to our headlines in the documentation, and we're going to look at the core tag library. The core library contains most of the elements we will use to replace embedded Java code in our JSPs with the logic such as iteration loops and conditional statements. This is the taglib directive for the top of the page. And then down here we have a listing of the general purpose actions in the core tag library, and each of them will link to the official Jakarta version 2 JSTL documentation. And now we go back to Eclipse and look at our updated code. This is our core end branch. We'll start with the view registration page. We see up top we set the registration ID. We set the registration and we set the pattern format. We use expression language to output the values. Then we have two formatted date outputs. One is of type time and the other one is specified by our pattern format. Down here we have a for each for the file attachments. We set the variable attachment name to the file attachment name. Then we build the URL and we output the href URL with a link to the attachment. And here is the end of our for each. We have a link to our charity registration servlet down here. So let's look at our updated form. We still have our Java imports. Basically the form more or less stays the same. We only have the expression language displays. Then the big change is between our old list registration page that had all the embedded Java code and our new updated list registrations with the JSTL tags. So we see we set variables using JSTL, and we set some more variables in our for each loop of our registration database key set. And here we output the subject, the username, and the number of attachments with another for each in here. And here is the end of our for each. So you can see there's a significant improvement in the readability and maintainability of our code once we switch over to the JSTL tags. So let's run it. Here is our new updated page using JSTL. And here we can see all the updated JSTL values. And that concludes this tutorial. I will see you in the next one.